speaking of the best husband, I want to tell you a story. A really good one on this subject. Making people conscious of Allah. You don't just invite people to have taqwa of Allah with your words. Your character says a lot. A friend of mine, he became a friend actually on a short trip, told me about how he was raised in a Muslim family. He's Guyanese origin, and in Guyana there's Muslims that are committed, and there's Muslims that have mixed their religion with Hinduism, and some Muslims that are just Muslim by name, and they've completely almost lost everything of the religion. They almost know nothing of the religion. And he was of the latter type. He almost knew nothing about the religion. So as he was growing up in New York, he almost completely just wasn't even practically Muslim. He used to, get into fights with his mother. He went to jail a couple of times. He was in gangs, all kinds of stuff. Later on in life, he decides he wants to, he's looking for God. And he knows at least by name he's Muslim. I think his name was Muhammad or something, right? By name he's Muslim, so he should look into what religion first? Islam. So he starts looking into Islam, starts going to the masjid, starts learning how to pray again, becomes more serious. At the time he was, he had married his girlfriend who was Christian or whatever. Right? He starts becoming more serious about the religion. And then his wife notices that he's praying. And the beer is gone from the fridge. And he's not going out with his drinking buddies. And he doesn't go to Atlantic City on the weekends. He's a different guy. Something's changed, And he doesn't say anything to her. Just on his own, he didn't yell at her, didn't tell her to, put a hijab on or whatever, lose all her friends. He didn't do any of that. He went to a scholar, and I make dua for the scholar that he went to. He didn't tell me his name, but he said, I went to my scholar, and I told him, look, I'm becoming more and more aware of Islam, but my wife, of course, is a Christian, and she's not even a practicing Christian. She's just kind of what I was before. She's exactly like I was before. How do I help her? He said, don't tell her a thing about Islam, just be the best husband you can be, and to do that, just study what kind of a husband the Prophet was. Just do that. Don't worry about what you need to tell her. Worry about being the best possible husband, and that is the sunnah of the Messenger. The Messenger would buy his wife gifts. The Messenger would joke with his wife. The Messenger would spend time with the mother of the believers. The Messenger would praise and compliment the mother of the believers. He would compliment them. You guys eat the first morsel of food in iftar, like, And the wife says, what? You go, nothing. Right? You drink, some of the desis here drink the first little sip of lassi. Look, I know the economy's bad, but are we really that short on sugar? Very painful for you to say a compliment, I understand. But it's a sunnah, guys. Good food. That's amazing. And our wives, the sisters are so used to hearing nasty things from us, that when we say nice things, they get freaked out. Like if the husband just says, you look really nice today. She goes, what do you want? She gets worried, like he's up to, we gotta fix that. That's a problem. It can't be healthy. So he starts doing these things with his wife. And in the beginning, he used to argue with her sometimes about Islam and tell her how Christianity doesn't make sense. How can 3 be 1 and 1 be 3? All those kinds of arguments, you've heard them before, right? And none of those would work with his wife. None of them. He's like, no, I'm a Christian and that's it. Jesus is in my heart. Leave me alone. 3 years go by. He stops talking to her about Christianity and how dumb it is or whatever. Stops debating with her. He's just being what he can be as the best husband. And one day he's making maghrib and his wife joins him in salat. And he's in salat. It messes up his salat, right? So he gives, after salat, he looks at her and he goes, what happened? And she goes, what? Nothing. And he goes, no, you have to tell me what happened. And of course she says what pretty much any wife would say, it's complicated. All right? But eventually she tells him, and she tells him, look, I've never seen a husband like you. My dad wasn't like that. I've never seen a father like you. The way you are with our child, I've never seen a father be like that. It's so beautiful. This religion can't be wrong. It can't be wrong. This is ittaqullah. You see how aware you are of Allah in your life, right? It's not how many ayat you've memorized, how many ahadith you know, how much knowledge you can spit out at someone, how many quotes from scholars you can deliver. It's not about that. How are you living your life? People can see that. You're calling people to the taqwa of Allah. حَقَّ تُقَاتِهِ
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created men and women very differently. Men, their biggest weakness is women. They could be richer, they could be poor, they could be, healthy and not very healthy, skinny and fat or tall, doesn't matter what culture, what language, all of them have the same weakness, women. And women, Allah Azza wa Jal, in majority cases, He made them oblivious to this weakness of men. They don't realize how bad it is. So when the ayah comes and a woman reads it, lower their gaze, oh yeah, I could do that. And they're like, what's the big deal? Why can't men just lower their gaze? And then you don't understand. What don't I understand? You have eyes, I have eyes, they have retina. It processes the same information. So what's the problem? You see, they don't understand the power of this desire that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put inside of us and mentioned as number one, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ. Number one of the desires that were beautified for men were desires for women. Right? The number one fitna the Prophet ﷺ fears for the men of this ummah is what? Women. Because it's a serious problem. So if the wives understand that, then instead of condemning their husband, why are you so weak? How come you can't control your eyes? Instead of knowing that, they would accept this is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to, the wife has a role of supporting her husband and becoming strong. And she can do that by warding temptations off from him, not by lecturing him. And this is the other thing that's very important for wives to understand. The husband, he goes to the office, or he goes to the train, and there are women horribly dressed. They're sitting there smiling at everybody, trying to, basically this is all these women have in terms of their dignity. They're not respected for their intellect, they're not respected for their opinions, so all they think is we're going to be respected if men see more of our shame. So they dress it in decent fashion because when men look at them, they feel kind of, self-respect, like I'm worth something, people are looking at me. That's basically what it is. It's really horrible, it's sad. But then they go to the office and the secretary's smiling at you saying, how are you, how was your day? What are you getting for lunch? Oh, you're fasting, oh that's nice. And then you go, on every ad, women are smiling at you, and then you get home. And you open the door and the wife said, where were you? Oh, the train, the train was late. Oh, every day the train is late. Oh, I understand. And there's a frown every day. And the first day it's okay, the second day it's okay. 10 years of this, 12 years of this, what's going to happen? The husband has resentment towards the wife, even if he doesn't say anything. He's building resentment inside. And the simple solution of the Messenger ﷺ, a smile of the wife when the husband comes home. You know how big a deal this is? This is not a small thing. It stabs the husband when the husband comes home and the wife doesn't care. And he's very disturbed by that. He may not say something, but it really, really hurts husbands. And it hurts the relationship, and it comes out in weird ways. Now that they're hurt, they're kind of upset as they're having dinner. Oh, there's not enough salt in here. And they're extra angry at the kids. They're frustrated. But the same scenario, the wife opens the door and she greets the husband with a smile. Just a smile, it's not expensive. But what happens? The rest of the night goes smoothly. The husband's in a good mood. He's talking to her. When he's talking to her, I don't want to talk right now, I have a headache. It's not going to happen. All started from where? Just one little act of the wife. These are simple solutions, but they're powerful solutions. And you don't take care of these solutions, and this baggage just keeps adding up and adding up and adding up, and that's where you get those statistics. Because the husband doesn't even want to look at the wife. She's just annoying. She just does this or that, right? So both sides have to understand, they have to take care of the other side. Instead of expecting from the other side, just make a goal for yourself to take care of the other side.